What up there, basketball fans? Stop what you're doing right now because something huge is happening in the basketball world, and her name is Caitlin Clark. I'm not even kidding when I say she's shaking up basketball like a 7.0 earthquake. You might think, yeah, I know she is good, but how big are we really talking? Well, get ready because the numbers I'm about to show you will make your jaw drop. Caitlin Clark isn't just changing women's basketball, she's changing all of basketball. She's pulling in viewers like nobody has ever seen before. She's making people who never watched women's basketball suddenly tune in every week. What we're seeing isn't just cool, it's history happening right in front of our eyes. So let's dive in and see just how big Caitlin Clark really is. Now let's talk numbers because these numbers are insane. Remember last year's WNBA All-Star Game? It got about 1 million people watching. Pretty fine, right? Well, this year's All-Star Game with Caitlin Clark? 3.4 million viewers. That's more than 3 times as many people watching in just 1 year. And here's something even crazier. The NBA All-Star Game this year got 4.7 million viewers. That means the WNBA is now getting 72% of the NBA's viewership for their big star game. That, mind you, has never happened before. But wait, it gets even better. Let's talk Luka Doncic. You know, one of the NBA's biggest young stars. His first game after signing with the Mavericks got 2.5 million viewers. That's a lot. Now guess how many people watched Caitlin Clark play on a random Sunday in August? 2.2 million. That's almost the same as Luka's big debut. A regular WNBA game nearly matching an NBA star's first game? That's unheard of. And when Caitlin faced Angel Reese on ESPN, that game actually beat Luka's numbers by 200,000 viewers. A WNBA matchup is pulling in more viewers than an NBA superstar's debut. The craziest part? Clark is even pulling in massive numbers on channels nobody watched before. When she played on Ion, a channel most people didn't even know existed, she still got over 1 million viewers. Think about that. She's bringing NBA-level audiences to channels that were basically unknown before she came along. These aren't just good numbers for women's sports, these are amazing numbers for any sport. Now let's talk about the talk. Who's getting the most buzz online? You would think the most talked about athletes would be the usual suspects like LeBron James, Steph Curry, or maybe Tom Brady or Serena Williams, right? Wrong-a-rooney. A recent survey asked people to name the most popular athlete in America right now, and guess who came out on top? Caitlin Clark. Not just for women's sports, for all of sports. She's not just in the conversation with the biggest names in basketball, she is the biggest conversation in basketball right now. Her highlights are spreading like wildfire. Every no-look pass, every deep three-pointer, every game-winning shot. They're all going viral instantly. What makes this even more amazing is that Clark isn't just popular with basketball fans, she's bringing in people who never cared about basketball before. Parents are bringing their daughters to games. People who used to ignore women's sports are suddenly buying tickets and jerseys. Clark has something special, that magic quality that turns regular players into superstars. She plays with joy and passion that jump through the TV screen. When you watch her, you feel like you're watching something special, something historic. And it's not just fans who are noticing. NBA players, sports legends, and celebrities are all talking about Caitlin Clark. When was the last time a rookie in any sport got this much attention from everyone? The social media numbers don't lie. Clark is dominating the basketball conversation in a way we haven't seen since LeBron first entered the league. And guess what? She's just getting started. Let's get even more specific about how Caitlin Clark stacks up against the NBA's biggest stars. Think about this. Clark isn't just competing with NBA stars for attention, she's beating them. Her games are consistently ranking among the most watched basketball events, period. Not just WNBA events, but also basketball events. Here's a mind-blowing fact. Out of the top 10 most viewed NBA TV games last season, Caitlin Clark was featured in 6 of them. That's right, a WNBA player dominated NBA TV viewership. The matchup between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, it became one of the most hyped basketball games of the entire year. It wasn't just a WNBA game, it was the game that everyone was talking about. And here's another crazy comparison. Games featuring LeBron James were only pulling in about 2/3 of the viewers that Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese was drawing. Let that sink in. The WNBA's new rivalry is getting more eyes than games with arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. The TV networks have noticed too. They're moving Clark's games to prime time slots. They're featuring her in commercials. They're treating her exactly like they would treat the biggest NBA stars because she's bringing in the same kind of audience. One sports analyst put it perfectly. There's a difference between great players and phenomena. There have been many great women's basketball players before, but Caitlin Clark is the first true phenomenon the sport has ever seen. She's doing things no one else has done, not just on the court, but in terms of growing the game. When we compare Clark to NBA stars, we're not just comparing skills or stats, we're comparing impact. And right now, Clark's impact on basketball might be bigger than anyone else's in the entire sport. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just about TV ratings, it's about changing the business of basketball. Local businesses near Indiana Fever games are seeing a huge boost in customers. Restaurants, bars, and shops around the arena are packed before and after the games. One business owner said, "It's been booming since last April when Caitlin Clark officially became a member of the Fever. Ticket sales through the roof. Seats that used to go for $20 are now selling for hundreds of dollars. Games that wouldn't have sold out before are now packed to capacity. The Fever went from one of the least attended teams to selling out every home game." Jersey sales tell the same story. Clark's jersey became the best-selling WNBA jersey of all time within days of being released. The league couldn't make them fast enough to keep up with the demand. The impact goes beyond just the Indiana Fever too. Every WNBA team is seeing bigger crowds when Clark comes to town. Even road games are selling out, with fans traveling from hours away just to see her play. One family even chose to skip their daughter's college graduation ceremony to see Caitlin Clark play. The father said, "I'd rather pick the game over graduation as long as I get my diploma still. I'll be okay." That's how much people want to see her. Another family traveled all the way from Austin, Texas. They were in town for the NBA playoff game between the Knicks and the Pacers, but made sure to grab tickets for the Fever game too. The mother said, "She's amazing. She's changed the game. We haven't seen something like her since LeBron came into the NBA." The TV networks are signing bigger deals with the WNBA. Sponsors who never looked at women's basketball before are suddenly lining up to be a part of it. New investors are looking at bringing WNBA teams to their cities. What Caitlin Clark is doing for their basketball business is like what Wayne Gretzky did for hockey in the American South. She's making people care about a sport they might have ignored before, and that's worth billions of dollars in the long run. So where does Caitlin Clark go from here? If this is what she's doing as a rookie, just imagine what happens next. The scary thing for the rest of the basketball world is that Caitlin Clark is still getting better. After the Olympic break last season, she was playing like the second best player in the entire league. Experts are already talking about her being in MVP conversations next season. But Clark's impact will go far beyond her own career. She's reshaping what's possible for women's sports. Young girls watching her today will grow up knowing that female athletes can be superstars, can fill arenas, and can be the face of a sport. The WNBA is changing right before our eyes. New TV deals, bigger salaries, more media coverage. All of this is happening because of the wave that Caitlin Clark is creating. She's not just a great player, she's a once-in-a-generation game changer. What makes this truly exciting is that we're just at the beginning of the Caitlin Clark story. This isn't the peak, it's just the first chapter. She's 23 years old with her entire career ahead of her. So, is Caitlin Clark officially the biggest basketball player on the planet right now? If we're talking about impact, attention, and changing the game, the answer seems pretty clear. But now, I want to know what you guys think. Is Caitlin Clark already the biggest name in basketball right now? Will she keep growing the game, or is this just temporary hype? Who else in sports history has had this kind of immediate impact? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're excited to see what Clark does next, and subscribe to catch all of our basketball coverage. Remember, we're watching history unfold right before our eyes. The Caitlin Clark revolution isn't coming, it's already here.